Hi, my name is Jake, and this is my story. I'm from Manawatu, born and raised in Palmerston North. At 9 years old, I started running away from home and hanging around with other neighborhood boys that were in the same situation as me. We eventually started getting in trouble, thieving, just mischief, stealing money from milk bottles and all sorts, stealing mail, and started getting worse and worse, and it ended me up in state care. Over the years, I was about 13 when I went to youth prison. Troubling time for me there. I was abused and tried to reach out to the authorities there, and I was put on a maximum security part of the youth prison and told I wasn't leaving there until I told the truth. They didn't want me to say I was abused. So I was up in Auckland, and I'm from Palmerston North, a long way from home, and I was a young boy, and I was very alone, frightened, scared little boy that had been abused. So growing up, we had knowledge of the Lord and God and Jesus, but going through what I went through, I lost my faith and belief in the man above. I was thinking in my head, how can he let this happen? So I started, I got released from there and started using drugs and alcohol at a young age, and gravitating towards people who had been through what I'd been through. I lost trust in authority, in the justice system, and anyone that represented authority. I've had no respect for. At the age of 14, I think it was 14, I tried to take my own life. I tried to take a lot of pills, and it didn't work. What it did do though, so taking a lot of pills, and I didn't succeed in suicide, but what it did do is push me further into drug use and into criminal behaviour. So I was 16 when I started hanging around with gang members, and they treated me like whānau, like I was hurt. I felt a part of. I felt welcomed. I just started not to feel alone in the world. So at 17, I had my first daughter. I was lost in addiction, and my priority was my addiction and that lifestyle. At age 18, was the first time I went to jail. I was a father of a newborn girl that I hardly even knew. Although I was there, I wasn't present. I wasn't really there. And jail became the normal to me. 41 next month, and I spent probably 15 plus years altogether, not at once, but altogether incarcerated. They become normal to me. Like, it didn't really matter to me, jail, as long as I was feeding my habit, feeding their lifestyle. So when I was 24, I had my second child, to my second long-term relationship, toxic relationship. Both of my relationships with my first two girls, baby mothers, were really toxic on both sides. I thought I was always there for my kids, but looking back now, I was definitely not. I was definitely not a prison father. And coming up to 2 years sober and clean. So my whole life I've tried to downplay or deny what happened to me at Boys Inn, and it's always seemed to manifest itself. So at the age of 35, I started to address my childhood trauma, and it's still in progress. I've come a long way. I'm lucky to have found my partner that I'm with. She's amazing. She's helped me deal with things that I never thought needed to be dealt with. So I'm currently on the bracelet on our ankle monitor, awaiting sentencing for some drug charges. So I get sentenced on July the 29th. At the time, I dealt drugs to supply my habit. The drug of choice was expensive, and the only way I could maintain the lifestyle of smoking it every day was to sell it. Ultimately, I got caught and charged with supply of a Class A drug, and it worried me for a long time. It's still, I still very anxious. I still get anxious about it. But walking in the light, I feel like no matter what happens, that God's got me, and I truly believe that I've done enough mahi and work on myself, and no matter what happens, I'm at peace with the outcome. So I've been on this bracelet for nearly 2 years now, and in that 2 years, at the start of our journey, mine and Hannah's journey, when I was in prison, she decided, look, I can't deal with this. We need to get out of Palmerston North. So she said to me, while I was in prison, I'm off to Hamilton. And I was like, well, can I come? And she's like, yeah, but you can come, but what you represent and what you used to do, they can't come with you. So, I didn't have to dig deep at all. I was wanting this change for a long time. So I said, yeah, of course, So we come up here, and that was our first stick. We moved out of Palmerston North, come to Hamilton, and then I got to thinking, there's something else missing. What I believe it to be is there was a calling, and it was to reach out to a church. It was to reach out to a church, and so we went online and we come across Elam. We visited the online ceremony on Sunday, and we thought, yeah, sweet, that's pretty cool church. Because what my understanding was church was like everyone wears their best suits, everyone like, if you're saying you're a bad person and all this, and I didn't get that vibe from the online service, so I did what I needed to do through my lawyers to get approved to come to a in-person meeting. And walking into the church, coming from my background, it was really strange to me. And we get to the doors, and my partner's like, oh, babe, I hope we don't burst into flames coming in here. So I was like, okay, sweet, let's do this. And we walked in there, and by the time the sermon was over, we were both had tears in our eyes. Something had shifted in our vitals, and inside something had shifted, and it felt like something was being filled up. So, we decided that we're in the right place, the place for us. And then we met. After the ceremony, we were standing outside, and we seen a couple from the church just V-lining for us, and we're like, I was a bit standoffish, I had my pants on covering my ankle monitor and trying to hide it and trying to downplay everything. And it was Matt and Michelle, they come up to us and they introduced themselves, and I was trying to be trying not to be myself anyway. And my partner, I should have known, straight off the bat, she's like, look, we've come from drug addiction, dysfunctional background, and I was looking at her thinking, oh my God, what have you done? But they said to us straight off the bat, me and Michelle, they said to us, look, we've all got stories, we've all got pasts, and those sentences really mean a lot, because straight away my walls of judgment and fear of being judged went down, and I no longer wear pants to church. I'm not afraid of my bracelet, yes, I've done wrong, but I really do believe that I'm doing right and I'm walking in the light. So no matter what happens to me, if I go to jail, if I stay out of jail, I will continue to walk in the light. And I truly believe that God has got mine and my family's best interests in play and at the center of everything. So I was an unpresent father to my first 2 daughters, and being clean and sober, it made me realize, looking back, that, I don't know, it made me feel this deep regret, deep embarrassment, deep shame, and deep sorrow for my girls, and like I missed out on so much of their lives. And I wrote both of my daughters a letter to apologize for who I was. There was no expectations on the letter. It was just a letter of sorry straight from my heart to theirs. So I asked for their forgiveness, and they both forgave me. Not long after I wrote those letters, I found out I was going to be a grandfather. So my oldest is 21. She lives in Palmerston North, and so she told me that she wants me to be there for my grandchild, and it sort of blew me away. Not just another blessing from the man above, because I missed out on 2 child's lives, and the man above gave me a 3rd chance, and Hannah got pregnant. So he's given me another chance to be the father I wasn't. I get the chance to be a good father, and not only to my new baby, to baby Raven, but to all my kids and my son, Hudson, my stepson. He's my son. So amongst the chaos of the life I was living, 2 significant things happened in my life, where one, I was attacked and macheted in the side of the face. You probably seen me around church and wondered, what's this from? I used to try to hide it and very ashamed of it, but now it's a part of my story. It's part of who I am. That's a part of how I got to where I am now. I'm not ashamed of it. So I was macheted in the face. I was also shot in the foot twice, and probably seen me in a leg cast not so long ago. I had to get surgery on my foot to remove fragments that were still in there, and so those are 2 significant things that have pushed me towards this life that I could have lost my life with, and just I want to be around for my grandchildren. I want to be around for my children. I want to be around for my darling. I want all these things that I thought I never wanted before in life. That's what I want, and that's what I'm getting. So we've been coming to Elim for over a year now. We started March last year, coming to church, and in February this year, I decided to show my faith and to show my belief. That I finally do believe. I'm a believer. I'm walking in the light and want to walk in the light. I chose to be baptized. When I was baptized, it's because I've never been baptized before. So when he dunked me under, I think I was supposed to just dunk under and come straight back up. But I was it felt like I was down there for so long. All these things were flashing through my head, and it felt like when I come up, it felt like all these things that impacted negatively in my life had been lifted. It felt like someone else had taken, and now I truly keep when they say, you leave all your stuff at the foot of the cross. You leave your stuff, give it to the Lord. I actually believe I gave it to the Lord that day, and before then, I didn't know what they meant when I used to hear, you got to give your sins to God or give your sins to Jesus and lay your sins down. I never actually got it until that day I got baptized. And not only that, we got the chance to dedicate our baby on the same day. for the last 2 years, I've been in all these programs and been doing so many groups. I'll go in and the first thing I'd say was, kia ora, kia ora, my name's Jake. I'm a grateful recovering addict. But now when I walk into a group, since being where I am in my life, I walk into a group and I tell them, kia ora, I'm a son of God first. And then I say I'm a recovering addict. Actually, I tell them I'm a retired addict. Because, I know in my heart I'm not turning back to that life. I've hung it up, So it's been a hard 2 years. I've had to, actually me and my darling, we've both had to cut off a lot of what we knew and who we knew in order to succeed in our new life, in our new walk of life. Because ultimately we know that you can't walk in the light and have one foot in the darkness, because eventually you'll get sucked into the darkness. So we both feed into the light. I'm grateful to Elim Church for accepting us with open arms. It's accepting I didn't think a man with my sort of past could be accepted into a place of that, like Elim Church, or like any church, But I was wrong. There was someone else talking. There wasn't a man above talking. And there was someone else telling me to keep me away from there. So I'm glad I led the charge on that one. I'm glad I said to my darling, there's something missing from our life, and we need to pursue it. And she's like, oh, let's go, whatever, she's, just, I wouldn't change the way my life is now for anything. I wouldn't change the people who are in it. Everything is genuine in our lives now. There's no having to watch over our shoulders or watch what we say anymore. We just raw and rugged now, so so what you see is what you get.